Live, love Africa. What's your excuse for not coming? Please subscribe.
Hello, I'm Dynasty Mir.
Greetings, everyone. It is Dynasty Mir, Search for Uhuru. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Again, make sure you go to dynastymir.com. While you're there, buy some merchandise. This is the Africa is the Future shirt. So don't just buy one. Everyone in your family, all of your neighbors, your extended family, your friends, co-workers, they all need Africa is the Future shirts. Also, buy a book. I'm an author. I've written several books, so please support and buy some books while you're there as well. Join our email list. Again, while you're at dynastymir.com, join our email list so you can stay up to date in regards to what's going on with Dynasty Mir. Like, share, and subscribe to the content here on YouTube. Again, like, share, and subscribe. We would really appreciate your guys' support. Again, it means a lot. We will really appreciate your guys' support. Also, Patreon. Become a monthly Patreon subscriber. Again, become a monthly Patreon. We need your support. Support Black media so we can continue to share our story and tell our narrative. So go to Patreon. Patreon.com, search for Uhuru. Again, Patreon.com, search for Uhuru and become a monthly donor. So today's topic, and I know Robert Mugabe is rolling in his grave right now. Again, Robert Mugabe is rolling in his grave right now. Zimbabwe agrees to pay $3.5 billion in compensation to white farmers. $3.5 billion that Zimbabwe doesn't even have. They have agreed to pay to the white farmers. And all you Zims, okay? All you Zims, all right, Zimbabweans in the diaspora who were cheering when Mugabe was overthrown, who were cheering the coup when he was overthrown. You guys have been mighty quiet lately because Zimbabwe is now worse off, right? They are now worse off than they were when Mugabe was in office. And so what we have to understand, and this is why I get so upset when it comes to issues like this, and I don't know what it's going to take for Black people to understand, all right? I don't care how much your leader is a so-called dictator. When the West replaces your leader with someone they've handpicked, okay, the situation is only going to get worse. Case in point, I don't understand how we have not learned our lesson yet. Case in point, let's start with Libya. I remember back in 2012 or 2013, I ran into a Libyan in Los Angeles on the streets of LA in Koreatown. And we were talking about Libya. And he was, that dictator, Gaddafi. I can't stand him. That dictator, Gaddafi. Fast forward, Gaddafi gets removed by the West. They put in their puppet, I don't want to say leadership, just some puppets just to come in and cause anarchy. Libya is now, is lawless. The slave trade is going on again. They're back to practicing the slave trade. So the West has set Libya back 1,000 years damn near. Let's take a look at Congo. Let's take a look at Burkina Faso. I'm pretty sure there were some people celebrating the death of Patrice Lumumba, and I'm pretty sure there were some people celebrating the overthrow of Thomas Sankara. Look at Burkina Faso now and look at the Congo now. Again, whenever the West gets involved and removes your so-called dictator, let's look at Gambia. The Gambians would rather have the previous president, I think his name is Jallo, please forgive me, this dictator in office than who they have currently right now, Barrow, I think the brother's name is. Gambians would rather have their previous dictator in power than who they have in right now. So I don't understand what it's going to take for black people to understand that when the West gets involved, they are never getting involved for your best collective interest. They're only concerned about their own interest. I don't know what it's going to take for black people to finally understand that. So let's get into the article. Zimbabwe agreed on Wednesday to pay $3.5 billion in compensation to white farmers whose land was expropriated by the government to resettle black families. So imagine I steal your car. I steal your car. I steal your vehicle. Right? And then the president says, you know what, Dynas? You wrongfully stole that car. We're going to take it back and give it to the owner. Then the new president comes in and says, you know what, Dynas? Even though you stole their car, we're going to compensate you the value of the car times 20. Just cause. That is what's going on right now in Zimbabwe. The white farmers stole the land. Mugabe did the right thing by taking the land back, the stolen land back, and put it in the hands of the people. Now, the new president thinks that the farmers should be compensated for the land that the white farmers were farming on that they stole. Someone in the chat room or in the comment section, explain this to me how this makes sense. In fact, if you're a Zimbabwean, please explain to me how this makes sense. This is this for African people globally. This is a low point. This is embarrassing. We were celebrating the year of return. Now we're in July, and white people are getting reparations in Africa. White people are getting reparations in Africa for the land that they stole. Somebody make sense of it. Please make sense of it. Help me out. What am I missing? Where's the grand finale? Like, what am I missing? All right, but the Southern African nation does not have the money and will issue long-term bonds and jointly, let me go up. So white farmers whose land was expropriated by the government to resettle black families, moving a step closer to resolving one of the most divisive policies of Robert Mugabe era. How is it divisive to take back a land that was stolen? How is that divisive? You stole my land, I'm taking it back. How is that divisive? Somebody help me, please. Somebody make sense of it. How is that divisive? But the Southern African nation does not have the money and will issue long-term bonds and jointly approach international donors with the farmers to raise funding. According to the compensation agreement. So Zimbabwe is so desperate to give reparations to white farmers for their stolen land, for the land they stole, that Zimbabwe recovered, that they're gonna have fundraisers. So guys, don't be surprised in the next couple of months where we have the you see Zimbabweans selling, or the government selling lemonade on the streets to raise money for the white farmers. Don't be surprised if you see a benefit concert, the benefit concert for the white farmers, for the reparations. This is just, so think about it. Zimbabwe is so, and I know all Zimbabweans don't think like this, but there were a lot of, and I was disappointed, there were a lot of Zimbabweans on social media praising Robert Mugabe's overthrow. And they're hiding under a rock now. The ones who were praising the coup. They've completely disappeared. And they have, if you're from Zimbabwe, I need you to address this. I need you to come on here and make sense of this. So you guys are so desperate to pay these white farmers who stole your land, to give them reparations, that you're gonna have benefit concerts, have fundraisers, so you guys can raise the $3.5 billion needed that you guys agreed to pay them. This is embarrassing. Like, I would be ashamed. Like, I'm trying to be nice. I want to be nice. I don't want to cause division. I want to be nice. But as a Zimbabwean, how do you feel about this? And I know we have our issues in Nigeria. I know Africans, we have our issues globally. But I need someone to address this and make sense of this. So you guys committed to $3.5 billion that you don't have, and now you guys are so desperate to pay the white farmers who stole your land, give them reparations, that you're going to fundraise to make sure they get paid. This is embarrassing. This is pathetic. I'm sure there are some more adjectives I could use, but I'm going to be nice. But this is, I don't know. Someone help me out. 2 decades ago, Mugabe's government carried out, at times, violent evictions of 4,500 white farmers and redistributed the land to around 300,000 black families, arguing it was redressing colonial land imbalances. The agreement signed at President Emerson Mnangagwa's State House offices in Harare showed white farmers would be compensated for infrastructure on the farms and not the land itself, as per the national constitution. Who passed this constitution? And how does this make sense? You see how they're trying to romanticize it? See, we're not paying them for the land. We're paying them for the structures. Okay, listen. If I build a house, if I knowingly build a house on stolen land, when the owners come to recollect, or when the owners come to claim their land, I forfeit the structure as well. I'm not compensated for the structure on the land. I mean, who wrote this Constitution? I know Mugabe didn't do this. There's no way Mugabe put this in the Constitution. Someone help me here. Again, even if I didn't know the land was stolen, like if I acquire some land and I build a beautiful, you guys know what I want. I want a beautiful Swahili architecture villa home, right? That's going to be my signature. It's going to be Swahili architecture. If I build my dream home, my dream space, right, on land that I bought, and maybe the title information was forged, or something was wrong with the title information, right? And maybe 20 years later, 30 years later, someone comes along and says, hey, this land that you bought, the person that sold it to you was unauthorized to sell it. This is my land. I got to get my stuff, pack up, and go. The true owner does not have to compensate me for the investment I made into the infrastructure on that land. So how does this make sense? Oh, we're not paying them for the land. We're just paying them for the buildings. Okay. They weren't supposed to have those buildings built on that land anyway. Details of how much money each farmer or their descendants. So even the descendants are getting paid on this. So the question becomes, if a country like Zimbabwe could promise white farmers money that they don't have for reparations, can African countries, or even though, okay, as they say, these African countries didn't exist during slavery, can they fork up reparations for descendants of the slave trade? I mean, a lot of people say, oh, well, these African countries didn't exist. Black Americans, African countries don't have any money to pay you guys reparations. Well, Zimbabwe is going to sell lemonade on the streets of Harare. The Zimbabwean government, they're going to hold fundraisers, barbecues, benefit concerts, so they can raise the reparations money for white farmers. So the question is, can African countries do the same thing? Because the argument is these countries didn't exist. These countries don't have don't have any money. These countries can't even afford to take care of their own citizens. Well, Zimbabwe has the motto now. You fundraise for the reparations money. Okay, we don't have the money, but we're going to have a fundraiser. Zimbabwe's setting the standard now. Because that's the argument. There's no money. These countries don't take care of their own citizens, so we don't have it. Well, Zimbabwe is going out of the way to make sure the white people who stole their land, that they, get compensated. They don't have the money right now, but they're going to have fundraisers. So should African nations have fundraisers to raise money for the diaspora, descendants of the slave trade? I'm just asking. I'm putting it out there because it seems like Zimbabwe has set a new standard. Let's see here. Given the time elapsed since the farms were seized, was likely to get where not yet clear. But the government has said it would prioritize the elderly when making the settlements. Farmers would receive 50% of the compensation after a year and the balance within 5 years. Okay. So Zimbabwe is going to, these fundraiser, Zimbabwe is saying over the course of 6 years, they're going to have the 3.5 billion. Let me see something. What is Zimbabwe's GDP right now? What is Zimbabwe's GDP right now? Hold on, guys. Let me look this up real quick. I keep getting these notifications. Okay, Zimbabwe's GDP. All right, so Zimbabwe's GDP is $31 billion. All right, get my math together. Hold on, let's see. So we'll say about, so say about 15% of Zimbabwe's GDP is going to go towards reparations for the white farmers who stole their land. And they're going to fundraise to get there. This is embarrassing on all levels. All right, let's continue. Finance Minister Muthuli Ncube and Acting Agricultural Minister Opa Muchinguri Kashiri signed on behalf of the government, while farmers' unions and a foreign consortium that undertook valuations also penned the agreement. As Zimbabweans, we have chosen to resolve this long outstanding issue, said Andrew Pascoe, head of the Commercial Farmers Union representing white farmers. The land seizures were one of Mugabe's signature policies that soured ties with the West. Mugabe, who was ousted in a coup in 2017 and died last year, accused the West of imposing sanctions on his government as punishment. The program still divides public opinion in Zimbabwe, as opponents see it as a partisan process that left the country struggling to feed itself. With so much ingenuity out there, so much African ingenuity out there, why would an African country struggle to feed itself? But the supporters say it has empowered landless black people, which it should. Mnangagwa said the land reform could not be reversed, but paying of compensation was key to mending ties with the West. Okay, so he's doing this to get back in good. Oh, man. So this really has nothing to do with the farmers. This has to do, so the president of Zimbabwe is going to give these white farmers reparations so he can strengthen relations with the West. So he's cut a check of you Zimbabweans. Come to at the end of the day, Zimbabweans, you're the one that's going to pay for this. If you live in Zimbabwe, you're the ones that are going to pay for this. Don't fall for the fundraiser. I mean, okay, they might have a couple fundraisers, but you guys are going to be the one to pay for this. You. So you guys have to pay reparations to these white farmers who stole your land so you guys can get back on good terms with the West. This is absolutely an embarrassment and sad on all levels. But hey, it is what it is. Guys, give me your comments. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Peace. So Four-Way College, like I said, is the oldest university in West Africa. Right here, University of Sierra Leone, Freetown. This is by the Creoles. Creoles built this university? British, okay.